Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cosmic Closet Podcast. I'm your host, Blaine, and joining me is, of course, we have the co-host, Jacob.
Hello, everybody.
Wow. And we're working on his mic. He's actually holding it now.
Yeah, I didn't know you had to lean so far in, so saying screw it. Just gonna hold it up close.
There we go, there we go.
I feel like a radio announcer.
Now you sound good. You could probably, you don't even have to hold it right up to your mouth. I mean, it's just, you were leaning over. You weren't even leaning over originally. Now it's a whole new world.
Yeah, hope it spells success.
Yes, yes. Um, spells. Uh, what are we talking about today? We have another conspiracy theory, of course.
Oh, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's a true tale of body snatching carried out by our own world governments. It is called Project Sunshine after the advent of the atomic bomb.
It took place in the 50s, right? Yeah, 1953.
Yep. Yep.
I was looking at the full report. The full document's 112 pages, and it was done by the Rand Corporation, which is actually still around today. But
Dude, when I was researching that, I was confused for a second. I was like, was this real or was this like in the Marvel universe?
that's
Because
what I thought.
Danny Rand Enterprises
I was
kind of
like,
messed me up.
what? Like, and I also read at the very beginning of the report, it gives contributions to everyone who contribute. Like, it gives like recognition to all the contributors. And there's some people from Cornell, Harvard, Stanford, the University of Tennessee, California.
Yeah, dude, this is a big deal. They had like a task force from all over the world. There were like British scientists that did some shady things that we'll
Yes,
get into.
and there was a main doctor. It seems like Doctor Libby. You read about that guy?
I did not.
He was basically the front runner of the whole thing, but he he ended up going on to get a Nobel Peace Prize before dying.
For his work here or
He was just
for other things.
in for other things. I mean, I'm sure they considered this as well, but I don't think they knew the full scope of this. Just probably like, oh,
Hmm.
he contributed to that. This I don't think this was declassified until 1995.
Dang.
Yep. So essentially, what was Project Sunshine? Do you want me to go into this?
Well, Project Sunshine was a research effort on the effects of the isotope strontium-90 and its effects on human tissue and bones of the dead.
Hmm. And
So, where do you get dead bodies, you might ask? Well, off the streets.
I heard they sometimes picked up homeless people,
Hmm.
and sometimes they talked to their friends and relatives to like coax them into kind of doing a fake donation of like skin samples and stuff.
Yeah, and then I think there's mention of a British scientist who stole like stillborn babies.
What the
They
fuck?
stole like stillborn baby legs, and then they told the mother that uh, it wasn't related to them.
I'm trying to think. So yeah, Dr. Libby, he was questioned about why he needed human samples, and he said that I don't know how to get them, but I do say that it is a matter of prime importance to get them, and particularly in the young age group. So human samples are of prime importance, and if anybody knows how to do a good job of body snatching, they will really be serving their country. What
Yeah, dude, it was like a
the
patriotic effort.
villain?
It really was, dude. You, I can't imagine this stuff happening today.
Like, do you think it was just because it was the 50s and nobody had smartphones? So if someone was picking up a homeless guy, they couldn't really, like, if they told someone else, they'd be like, oh, you're nuts. That's not
Yeah,
it.
it'd probably be like a conspiracy on its own that no one would believe.
That's crazy, dude.
But now we know.
Yeah, so he was basically saying if you can get a body for me, you're gonna be a patriot.
Yeah. Did he like outsource body snatchers and pay them
I
handsomely?
don't know. Oh, I just found this. Yeah, he died in 1980 after winning the Nobel Prize in Chemistry, and 1960 for developing the dating method using radioactive carbon-14. So it wasn't even really involved with this. This might
Oh
have hurt his
wow.
chances.
So he invented radioactive, or no, what is it?
Radioactive,
Radiometric dating.
yeah, carbon-14 dating.
That's awesome. Yeah, we use that in
What is that? What does
chemistry
dating
class
mean?
today. It's where you like measure the half-life of a certain particle, and then you can date like rocks and other samples like that using half-lives.
Hmm.
That was a very bad explanation. Don't shame me in the comments, please.
Dr. Libby's rolling in his grave.
Yeah.
That's not what it is. Uh,
Everything you said made no sense at all.
Give me a body, and you'll be forgiven. But yeah. So essentially, he was. Oh, okay, yeah, right here. Project Sunshine sought to measure the amount of strontium-90 being absorbed by humans because of nuclear testing. S90, a calcium-like radioactive substance produced from nuclear explosions, is absorbed by plants and animals and is passed through food to humans, whose bones absorb it. What the hell? That's crazy. And this is still a real. That's a still a real fear. Like, and any radioactive material can give that off, or do you know?
I don't know.
Maybe it was just atomic weapons. I'm
I'd
saying,
hope so.
can my microwave give me S90 if I rev it up a little bit?
No, I doubt it. I don't even think microwaves are that kind of radioactive.
Anymore, or at all?
Were they once?
I don't know.
I just know microwaves work by vibrating the what is it? It's not the cells. Is it the? It's like the atoms, and they vibrate so fast that they heat up. I don't know, something like that. We're not
Uh,
scientists, all right?
well, right, of course. Yeah, we don't know what the hell we're talking about. But they said the project was intended to use that absorption was to gauge the possible health problems caused by atomic tests. So they wanted to see what happens if someone gets hit by an atomic bomb, basically, and like it doesn't die. Just what would the radiation do to them over time? I think. Of course,
Yeah,
if atomic bomb fell right on them, they'd be vaporized. But it's like, hey, if they survive, they're in the fallout zone. Will there be cancer? Will there be mutation?
mm,
But I think it was the way that they went about it that's so controversial. Whole body snatching,
exactly.
picking up the homeless people, stealing babies, cradle snatching.
Yeah, like this is perfectly fine to research, but their methods were nothing short of,
Odd.
Nazi Germany style.
Yeah. Well, and I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, right here. Managers of the project, not wanting to disclose the nature of the research, decided to have researchers use their personal contacts to recruit others to gather samples for them. So yeah, you're right. They did outsource body snatching.
Jeez.
Uh,
That
so,
would have been such a cool job.
some sample gatherers were told that the material was needed for a project to measure natural levels of the element radium found in the population. So they were lied to.
I don't know why they had to lie about that. Like,
uh,
it sounds just as shady.
Probably less scary though. Like, hey, we want to just gauge, the natural levels, the natural element, but not.
Aw,
Hey, we want you to undergo radiation if you got hit by a nuke but survived. That'd be a little bit less appetizing.
yeah. We talked about this kind of very briefly a while back. You know, preparing for this
Right.
episode. Did they steal bodies from the Japanese?
Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yeah.
That's what I read on a website. Was that's how this kind of got started? Because this
Mm.
project started in the 50s, so this would have been after World War II. So I'm thinking this report probably didn't, but there are claims that after the bombs were dropped, military scientists went in and took samples.
Oh,
It
like
might
they
not have been
like made it.
involved in this report, but I'm sure it could have happened.
Okay. Like they could have died years later for just from cancer, and then
Yeah,
they pick up
yeah.
the
There's
body.
still sites where, like Chernobyl, you can still get radiation.
Mm.
And yeah, there's tons of people that have died from cancer in Nagasaki and Hiroshima regions. I there, I don't know when that went away. That city's obviously rebuilt, but yeah,
Chernobyl?
no, Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Uh,
Chernobyl's still pretty active.
yeah.
But oh, speaking of, this is a little sidetrack. Did you see that Amazon series now has people going to Chernobyl in real life?
No?
Yeah. So there's a
What?
mini series on HBO about Chernobyl, and now there are like Ukrainian models and stuff, and like just citizens and tourists going in and taking pictures. Like there was this model that took her radiation suit off and like
Oh
showed her
my God.
showed her shoulder, like turned around to the camera, like posing, and
Yeah.
it's in the middle of
What the
radioactive
hell?
Chernobyl.
Well, I guess that's natural selection for you.
Yeah, that's
Keep
Project
doing what you're
Sunshine.
doing, morons.
But back to this. Uh, so yeah, they basically lied to the body snatchers that they recruited, saying, "Hey, we were just doing a natural resource research." Um, yep, and then more than 1,500 samples were gathered total. 1,500 people.
I think it's wild how like most of them uh were like babies, kids. I
Yeah.
mentioned earlier that they took this like babies' legs and stuff from hospitals. There's one account where a British mother, to prevent her from finding out what happened with her baby, she wasn't allowed to dress it for the funeral.
What?
Yeah,
Like she couldn't even see it.
I guess so. Yeah.
So were these babies that died after they were like complications, or was it like abortions, or what? Or
Well, in
probably
this
both.
case, I mean, in this case, it was a stillborn, so it just died by
Yeah,
natural
right.
causes.
Damn.
I'm
So
sure
how did they
nothing. I'm
get
sure
notified? The doctors gave a call to the scientists saying, "Hey, we have a stillborn," and they drove to the hospital and picked it up.
maybe, dude.
It's dystopian. What the fuck?
I
Uh,
I kind of get where they're coming from, though. You have to be a raging sociopath to do that kind of stuff. But if you think about it, eh, it's for the betterment of
I mean, yeah, they
humanity,
were doing
and
research,
the
but
baby's dead.
and maybe it was the only way at the time that they could get the samples. Like I said, if you told them the real reason, nobody would volunteer.
Yeah.
I don't. And also, it was the '50s, man. We were studying marijuana at the time, thinking and LSD, thinking that it could mind control people. I mean, there's just stuff that happened back then that you obviously can't do now.
This begs the question: do you think we're kind of held back by a more ethical society these days?
Like, it's impeding us from certain.
Yeah. Like, imagine where cybernetics could be if we just
Oh yeah.
said screw it and
Well,
just
and same thing with
did human
cloning.
testing.
People think that cloning is playing God. If we had clones, I mean, think of the medical advancements and the medical research we
Yeah,
could get
dude.
off of
If
that.
we had clones, we could just test clones.
Exactly. Yeah, no, there's no doubt that morals and ethics get in the way of some things, but clearly, if I mean, but then you get into like Nazi, there's some stuff that you shouldn't do
Yeah.
with, you know.
With cloning, though, I think that would be the absolute best way to go for human trials.
We've, me and Jacob have talked about this many times around bonfires. We're big cloning
Yeah.
advocates.
Like, you could accomplish so much, and it all depends on how you view a clone.
Well, it's
What?
like
What?
you wouldn't want to see one of yourself though, so there'd have to be a base model like that we just keep as one for all of them. Like we couldn't clone everyone once, and have double everyone.
Yeah. I think if there's like a template, kind of like Jango Fett
Yeah, right.
from Star Wars, if there's a single template, and everyone was like bald and just They all look the same. They all,
They were uniform.
yeah, and it maybe even have what's the word? Inhibitors. So like mood inhibitors,
Oh
so
yeah,
they
yeah.
can't even like feel certain emotions. If you could just study their anatomy, shoot, it all depends on how you view a clone.
Well, I think you're right. And like I said, it was the 50s, so to them at the time, it was like, all right, we need to figure out what happens if we get hit with an atomic bomb. How are we gonna do it? And they
Yeah,
found
what's
out.
the immediate danger?
Yeah, and
I
this
mean,
was right during the Cold War, like right when it was ramping up. So they were like, oh, we could be nuked at any time. So if
yeah,
you look at it from that way, they had a hard choice to make.
means to an end.
Exactly. I don't know. I think it would be more. There are worse conspiracies, I guess. Like Bohemian Grove is just plain creepy. There's no end goal to that.
Yeah, this is just one of those stains on history
Yeah,
where
right.
we had to do something, do what had to be done, I guess, for the time.
I think I'm trying to think of what else I read. Um, oh yeah, so basically the study concluded that the amount of strontium 90 found in humans worldwide did not indicate an immediate health hazard from atomic testing. So it was a worldwide effort. It wasn't just inside the U.S. There were British scientists contributing samples. There were,
Yeah.
it was all over, which is interesting. But yeah, it was published February 8th, 1957, by a team from Columbia University. So that was when it ended, which
Huh.
is crazy. It's a long time ago, and yeah, I think it was declassified finally in 1990s, 95.
Can't believe it took 40 years to get that declassified.
Yeah, the doctor had already died. Dr. Libby, he died in 1980.
What's the point in declassifying stuff like so late?
Delayed effects. People involved don't have a reason to be feared. Like, is there going to be repercussions against them?
Ah, okay, that
Also,
makes sense.
enemies. Like, if we had something classified and declassified it right away, our enemies could be like, oh, they have this. Let's start building this. If we give 40 years, we're already going to be far ahead of them.
Yeah.
But no,
One
he's
declassified, recently declassified document though that really gets at me is like it was a fictional book that somehow warranted itself to be classified by the
Oh,
government.
you told me that earlier. Uh,
Yeah, it's a book about like the several cataclysmic events throughout history and how it's all a cycle. And
it's kind of
so,
scary.
yeah, I mean, it's one thing like to, subscribe to that belief, but it's another for the government to freaking go hush hush about
Classified.
it. Yeah.
Oh, what else did I told you this when you told me? Oh, they just declassified Bigfoot files. The FBI forensic lab got samples from a Bigfoot research group, and they thought it was something that they've never seen before. And the FBI like studied it in their labs, and it ended up just being deer hair and deer blood. But yeah, the FBI actually had like an official FBI Bigfoot investigation.
Okay, Bigfoot, man. We got to do an entire episode about that because it's such a phenomenon to me.
Oh,
How
Casey has a
people,
story about it too. We could have him on.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Like a sighting?
Yeah, his dad saw it, or one
Oh
of his
my
dad's
God.
friends.
Like, I'm assuming it's not one being.
No, it has to
It
be like a
is,
species.
yeah, is the whole argument like it's the missing link and Bigfoot is just an easier way to talk about it?
Uh, I don't know. I think
Because if we just think of it like Bigfoot is a cryptid monster, I think it's the stupidest thing.
no, yeah, that's
But
obviously
what is
not.
the actual reason that it's so?
I think of it as like a yeti, or like I don't know. I don't think of it as. I think of it more as like an animal,
Hmm.
not like a Wendigo or a demon. or something going bump in the night.
I just don't get how it's so dumb to me. How would that thing go hidden forever?
Yeah, and that's why I don't think it's real. I've never seen it.
Like we discover new insects and like tiny rodents and stuff
Yeah, we find
all the time, but
plankton in the
Bigfoot
ocean.
is Bigfoot's like mega human size and just it's so stupid.
I do believe in the megalodon though.
Oh, like that it once existed or that it still
It
exists?
still exists. No, I know it. I know it once existed. I mean, there's been proof of that, but I
I, w-
I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if something like that still exists.
You ever seen
Because
the Meg movie?
no, dude, that's
I didn't see it.
that thing's like 200 feet long, or something. It's based on the trailer.
Yeah.
My dad was in that movie.
Yeah. Jason Statham.
um, nah, like there is so many freaking knots of ocean we haven't discovered
Oh yeah,
or
dude,
traveled
we've
yet.
explored more space than we have of the ocean.
Yeah, and I think something like the megalodon could, be in the deep.
There are definitely creatures in the ocean that we're years from seeing, and we don't even have the technology to go all the way down to the bottom of the ocean, like
Yeah,
fully without having to come back up, or
like
actually
like
explore.
giant squids, for example. Like those aren't just something in
No, there are
monster
prehistoric beasts still
stories.
in the ocean. I mean,
Yeah.
whales are from that same time. There's a lot of stuff. The sharks were around in the prehistoric times. Alligators.
Dude, did you know? Okay, so lobsters they can live forever until they just starve to death from being too big.
That's crazy, dude.
Alligators are the same way.
They can live forever?
They're immune to like all disease
Oh, you said this, yeah.
and they're like lobsters in that they won't die until they just starve.
What a way to go. You just gotta die slowly
Yeah,
after all those years.
be be worth it though.
Yeah, that would be cool. Which is another reason. If we got a little bit of the morals out of the way, we could become lobster people. Live
I
forever.
know, right? I was talking about that with someone today. Like, imagine if we this part sounds dumb because there's several different factors that go into this. But imagine if we could replicate the properties of like a tardigrade. You know what that is?
No. What is that?
Also known as a water bear. Does that ring a bell?
Hmm.
Okay, they're seen in Ant-Man whenever he goes subatomic. It's
Right.
those like six, eight-legged microscopic
Oh, yeah, yeah,
worm
yeah, yeah,
things.
yeah.
Those can like survive in space. They can survive through sub-zero, like
Oh, are those the things with
like
the long
absolute zero
snouts
temperature.
or the long nose or whatever?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
and like survive in a volcano and
Yeah.
shit. And it's because like they go dormant and just let it pass. But imagine if we could replicate that property. It's dumb though because it's probably because they're so small that that's even possible.
Yeah, but I mean, we could if we could figure out what the hell they're doing. There's just no way to study it because they're so small. How could we
Yeah.
ever? I don't know. It'd be crazy. You're getting shot at and you just lie down. You're just impenetrable. Oh well, that's basically Project Sunshine. There's really not a lot about it. We were kind of surprised. I went straight to the actual document. There were not a lot of articles on it.
Yeah, it's really just a little footnote in history about what some brave scientists and grave robbers. Okay, they weren't grave robbers, but but
Right from
sounds cool though. No, but brave scientists and body snatchers had to do to further our understanding of
to
nuclear
fight the
fallout.
nukes. Oop. Well, any show updates? I'm currently in the development of a website. Hopefully, we can get that up and running. I'm gonna bet with Jacob. Subscribe to this episode. I'm trying to get 12 subscribers so he can pay for next month's website subscription.
Yeah, Blaine and I have a wager. We get 150 subs, I'll pay for the next month of the website.
Yeah, and
If not,
he'll donate another 13 to a charity of your choice.
all right, now you're putting me on the spot. We never agreed to that, but I
But
can't really say no now.
any show updates for you? Huh?
Nope.
No, we're doing good.
I'm holding the mic closer to my face.
Yeah, yeah. No cutting out now. And I also bought a stand, so the production
Oh
value is
yeah.
going up, everyone. So if you're not in this
Yeah.
now, you're gonna miss the hype.
Yeah. Subscribe for our new episodes. Maybe ignore our older ones.
Yeah. Subscribe for our new ones. Ignore the other ones, and check us out on everything else. We're on everything now: Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher. Follow us on Twitter,
Mm, we're
and
going places, I hope.
yeah, leave us
I
some
had a
reviews.
I had a coworker tell me he started listening to the show like during work, and I was like, "Oh no, where'd you start?" And he said, "I'm starting from the very beginning, dude."
No.
I like all I could say is I would have probably stopped watching if I were him.
Yeah, dude. Everyone, if you've been with us since the beginning, you've seen our growth. This is probably like ASMR now to you.
Compared to that, yeah.
Well, everyone, thanks for listening. You want to do a send off, Jacob?
Um,
We'll see him. We'll see him win.
we'll see you next week, guys.
Everyone, like and subscribe, and we'll see you then. Thank you.